you're obviously, we've been talking about a lot, dealing with figuring out how to play through the knee soreness. Knowing that you're not whatever percentage below 100% you are, what are you learning about yourself, your game, how you're adjusting as you're going through this?
It's like you said, just learning to make adjustments. I probably relied on my athleticism a lot, this season, but using more of my skill, playing a little bit slower, which can sometimes be a good thing, So it's all about just, figuring that out, and I've been using these games to kind of figure it out, and just take it one day at a time.
Are you studying anybody, any other players, are you breaking down some film to think like how do you go about adjusting your game like that?
It's funny because he was at the game today. Before the game, I was watching some Paul Pierce footage, just getting to your spots, playing at a certain pace. And today I felt like I didn't have my normal burst, but I was still able to be effective. So I think that's good. But as we continue to move forward, I'm, hoping to feel better and better. But, there's no guarantee rest or anything like that is going to make it, this thing better. So, kind of figuring it out and going through it and getting ready for the playoffs.
Did you talk to Paul? Have you asked him for advice?
I mean, I've talked to Paul a bunch of times over the years.
But specifically about this?
Tonight? No, I didn't. I didn't talk to him about this. But it's good to see him at the game always. Him and Big Poppy, Boston legends. So that was great.
You've talked before about how physically demanding your role is, especially in the playoffs too. You're picking guys up full court, guarding the best players, stuff like that. How much of all of that do you expect to be able to handle with the way your knee is, and how is that driving you over the last 5 games of the regular season and beyond?
I mean, we'll see. I'm still learning, and I'm still hoping that, and we got some stuff that we're looking to do to make myself feel a lot better going into the playoffs. I'm still learning. So every day I'm just taking it one day at a time. Obviously, I haven't felt my best over the last couple of days, the last couple of weeks. But you kind of just got to, roll with the punches, I guess. It is what it is. It sucks. I wish I could share more details, but, whatever my team needs, whatever, I can do, whatever I got, I'm going to give. So I'm looking forward to, just taking it one day at a time, and I'm hopeful that some things will improve over the course of this next 2 weeks or so.
Jaylen, even outside the knee injury, it feels like you've been a lot more meticulous at attacking mismatches and sort of trying to slow down the game this year. What about your progression as a player do you think has allowed you to be more comfortable in those spots as you started to slow the game down a bit and pick your spots like that?
Just experience. My role, has changed a lot over the years. I feel like this year, making plays for others. I don't think we needed me to score the ball this year. Obviously scoring is something that I do, and that's probably my best quality. But, I really tried to emphasize making plays for others on my team all season long, and I think that's what our team has needed. They didn't need another guy that just comes down and just tries to score every time he touches it. So I've made that emphasis this year, and it's been, somewhat of a sacrifice to some degree. You can look at it like that or whatever, and, people may have their own, opinions about that. But, I've definitely made an emphasis to get guys going, Peyton, Porzingis, D. White, Luke, and that's just different from any role I've had in the Celtics uniform. But I wore it with a badge of honor. I feel like I've improved a lot in that area, so I've made myself a better basketball player. And I feel like, we've had some great years by a lot of our guys that have been around. So, looking forward to continuing to empower guys in the playoffs, and it's all about team. It's not all about me. I can come down and get numbers if I wanted to. But, people got to say what they got to say regardless. But I've been a team basketball player all season long.
Sorry for all the knee-related questions, but just I think, people are not used to seeing people play in pain in the NBA, I think, in a sense. And so maybe that's kind of part of why people have that reaction. And I'm wondering from you, or at least visibly in pain, obviously everybody's in pain, but I'm wondering, is there a level of pride that you've been able to still be effective and found a way to get your spots, put up big numbers, have efficient performances? Because if you look through your box score, you've had a lot of efficient performances with this injury. Is that something that you have been kind of trying to see if you can do mentally too and achieve that?
Two parts. Great question. One, you normally see people complain about when people are choosing not to play. I've never, been experienced it the other way around, where I'm playing and people are encouraging me not to. But, yes, I think, pain is definitely a physical thing, but it also is a mental thing. So, Joe has allowed me, even though, my team or visibly can see maybe I'm in a bit of pain, that they trust me to go out there and I can control my body and still be able to make plays and mentally be able to kind of, push through it. I think that's going to be something I'm going to have in my back pocket. So I've been just utilizing these games in order to, to feel things out. And, things will get better, I'm sure. But if they don't, then, I still have a good feel of kind of where my baseline is at and stuff like that. Because there's no guarantee that, honestly, that rest is going to make anything better. I wish it would, but it's kind of the cards that are laid out.
Jaylen, tonight the second unit contributed nearly 40 points. How nice was it to have the entire rotation available for the first time since late February?
Great, anytime we're healthy and be able to be on the floor all together is a strength of ours. So I thought it was a great team win. A lot of guys, play well. I thought Luke was great tonight. D.Y., I thought D.Y. was good. He made plays, rebounds. He flirted with a triple-double. JT, of course. KP was playing well. So just keep continuing to build that camaraderie, clicking on all cylinders. And then, just rolling. I think we're playing some great basketball right now, and it's the time of year you want to be. So, we want to prioritize health. It's not going to be perfect, but as a team, if we, work together and we keep emphasizing team, that I think we have enough. We got plenty. So that's the goal, is just, buy into the team, buy into the game plan, buy into the strategy, and rely on each other. So that's what I'm focused on.
Jaylen, the injury is one thing, but you're also dealing with a minutes limit, which you're not used to.
That's another thing, yeah.
Yeah. What's that conversation like with Joe when you want to play or you're getting taken out and you're kind of looking at him like, come on, man, what's that like?
It's just constant communication, and Joe is giving me, I appreciate Joe because he's giving me grace, even though, he's letting me feel through it. He kind of understands where it's at, and he's letting me, play through some stuff, even last game. I took some ill-advised shots last game, and that was just a part of me trying to figure out where I can go, and you know what I mean. I still want him to hold me to that same standard, but I appreciate Joe for the communication and stuff like that, and it's good to have that now, rather than trying to figure it out once everything is on the line. So I think it's important to kind of build that, and I think that's what we have, that communication. So if things are, whatever, then we gotta, we got some information to pull from during these games.
Do you know how long that minutes limit might last here going forward?
I do not. I don't know. But whatever it is, I'm willing to adjust, and whatever it is to help the team. And I bank on being, by the playoffs, we got some stuff lined up. I bank on being even better than I feel now. So we'll see as time goes. But, whatever it calls, I'm open to.
And what have you learned through this process? You said you've learned a lot. I think you said it was your first knee injury too, significant. The balance between rest and, playing through it and all that.
What have I learned? I learned that I have a lot of skill. My skill level is high. As you've seen tonight, no dunks, no transition points, like what I'm used to doing. I was probably leading the league in transition points over, this season, or top 5 at least. I didn't think I had probably no transition points tonight, and I could still affect and score the game in multiple ways. And I haven't always displayed that, and this year I haven't displayed it as much because, I'm athletic. I get to the paint, I draw 2, make the defense collapse, and we got shooters all around, but I can hit shots, I can shoot the ball. I can get to my spots. I could score different ways, and stuff like that. So just emphasizing that, and I think that could be like a good thing. Like reminding myself that, like, not only are you athletic, but you got a high skill level as well. So utilize that.